Welcome in to Save the Franchise. It's been a while since we've been here, but looking forward to this one. We got a good. We're coming back to power rankings. So the last time we did this was post week 4. It's been a minute. We're gonna try and be more regular with this. If you like listening to our stuff, like and subscribe, and we're gonna be more regular with all that. Leave comments. We're pretty good about responding to those. But yeah, Tyler, how you doing? You feeling good to be back?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, excited to be back. Excited to rank some teams, even though this NFL season is starting to pick up right now and things are getting exciting. But I know we both have strong opinions about certain teams, and I really am interested to see where we rank a few of them.
All right, yeah, this is gonna be good. So we're gonna take off. We're gonna do this how we did our quarterback power rankings. If you didn't watch that episode, we're gonna kind of work through the list together and put it together. We feel that the best way to do that is from the top down. So we're gonna start with the best teams, pick someone at number 1, and start moving down. Our intention is to go through all 32 teams. Apologies, some teams might not get much talk about them. They might just get slotted into their spot, but I think we'll mention at least a little bit about the status of where we think each team's at. Just some of the teams that are probably looking forward to the draft already probably won't get much out of us. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Tyler's kind of already broken it down, thought about his tiers some, where he wants to play stuff, so I'm gonna kind of use him as our guide today on how we're when we're bringing up teams to talk about them and all that. But we're gonna collaborate on where specifically we're going to slot in teams exactly on the 1 to 32, and that should be good. So Tyler, why don't you kick us off? Give me let's say for the number 1 spot, I feel like there's only 4 or 5 teams that you could even really make the case for. Why don't you go ahead? I'm sorry, let me just put in this one thing. The way Tyler and I like to do power rankings is not like Super Bowl like odds, but rather like team quality in terms of attacking a Super Bowl, right? Like, because there's a difference between, being a team that's good enough to go win like 12 plus games and steamroll, bad, to medium level teams in the NFL very well, and being very good at dealing with contending teams, right? And I think that's what we care a lot more about with the NFL, because that is what it's about. It is about the Super Bowl, but the odds conversation with the Super Bowl is much more about contextually putting in the team power with, dealing with the circumstances. So, now that I got that out, sorry, Tyler, go ahead. Put out a few teams that you think we can actually legitimately talk about at number 1.
Yeah, so I broke mine up into tiers, and I do have 3 clear tier 1 teams, in my opinion. Teams that right now, if they win a Super Bowl, wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Right. If we were told by a
And
time traveler right now, yeah, makes total
yeah,
sense. Yeah.
and those 3 teams I have are the Eagles, the Chiefs, and the Rams.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's very fair. I think I'd throw in the Bills right now, just because Josh Allen, and I think none of these teams look complete. And in an incomplete league, I kind of just like the best quarterback.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I mean, I think the Eagles are there, right? Because Hurts is really good. Maybe not, you're not leveraging it quite as much on the best quarterback option, but they're the closest team to complete still, I feel like, in the NFL, outside of maybe the Broncos. But the Broncos have such a worse quarterback that it's kind of it becomes a little bit less of a real point.
Yeah.
So would you agree with the Bills kind of being a little bit in this conversation? We don't need to really break it down yet.
Yeah, a little bit. I did have them at the top of the next tier.
Okay.
But it's right now, their running defense absolutely scares me to
It
the
is.
point where it's like, it's hard for me to
Yeah.
really love a team who gets thrashed like that in a run game. Like it's really pathetic levels right now, and it's hard to watch. Like any running back they go against, their D line just gets dominated. It's
Yeah.
crazy to watch.
Yeah, and I
So
suppose when we really talk about it in the power ranking sense, yeah, I'm with you there. Okay, so I'm good with striking them out of the consideration for 10. I just thought it was worth
yeah,
mentioning,
no, they
or not 10, but 1. I thought it was worth mentioning. So, yeah, I think I've loved what I've seen out of the Rams lately. I think one of the things I saw from last game is I think they finally figured out the Devontae Adams in the red zone thing, which was supposed to be a thing from the start of the season. It was like, Puka's great all the way down the field, but he's not like, even though he has the size, he's not like a super red zone weapon. It's a lot easier to cover him down there and double him, right? And so Devontae Adams was supposed to be like the cure to a lot of the red zone woes, because like they're not really even though they like to run power, they're not that strong along the interior of the O-line. And so Devontae Adams was supposed to be that solution from the beginning of the season, but he hasn't really been, and now he kind of is. And I think that's unlocked a new level. If Puka can stay healthy, which I think is becoming a little bit of an if, to be fair. If Puka can stay healthy, I mean, it's arguably the best passing attack in the league. Stafford's been on fire. The questions we had about the back from the start of the year were totally forgotten, you know? And yet it just doesn't feel like it doesn't really feel like they should be one, don't you think?
Yeah, I have them at 3. Just, yeah, your points are pretty valid. They look so dominant and stuff like that. It's just when you put the whole thing together, I still think it will probably be an Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl.
I just feel like they're missing a little bit of something, right?
They are. I don't know. It's hard to explain with them because, yeah, from just a pure objective point of view, yeah, every single thing they've done has looked really good. I'm not taking them against the Eagles still in a playoff matchup.
The head-to-head with the Eagles specifically is a really poor matchup for that secondary. But in general, I think it's a good point. It's like I think that things feel weird, and it's like I like those secondary players. It's just I think it's kind of in the context of like, wow, they built the secondary out of kind of trash assets, and this is how good it is. It's a pretty good result, right? You know, it's not actually, oh man, the secondary is really good, you know. So yeah. I think that's fair, you know. And when we talk about when we talk about hitting top teams, you're looking at how well can you defend the elite quarterbacks, and yeah, I don't know that those corners are cutting it. The other thing is I think they're pretty well stuck in zone. In addition to being easily bullied, I think they're very stuck in zone. And any sort of optimal scheme for their players, and I think a lot of the best teams right now are built to pretty well gash zone. I think man's typically the man switch has been the thing that the better defenses have really been able to tap into this season.
Yeah. But yeah, right now, if I had to pick number 1, I'm still going to give it to my Eagles. I think right now, especially the Jalen Phillips edition, Nolan Smith is finally back. The D-line last week against the Packers looked ridiculous again. And I have because that was the thing that was really keeping me back from the Eagles in previous weeks. The D-line was not the same as last year. Now it looks the same, if not better. Moro Ojomo's been incredible the last couple weeks. Jalex Hunt's been incredible too. There's depth, there's star power, and the secondary's still great, even with DeRay Jackson being a weak spot. It's Fangio has all of his pieces. He has the great linebackers, and I think like Eagles defense is going to really start coming together, similar to how they did at the end of the year last year.
Right. I think
I know.
My one question is still, like, I think this coaching staff loves to set themselves up to get hit in the nose and potentially, like, get, like, really behind in a game. And that has nothing to do with the roster strength, right? It's just that, like, the way the coaching staff likes to come into games, I think, you know, if the opponent gets 2 touchdown drives up, you know, right away, and they're kind of floundering a little bit on offense, and then, you know, the other team doesn't let the Eagles back in like the Rams did in that game a number of weeks ago. I can very easily see how, you know, they lose a playoff game despite being like significantly more talented than the other team. However, I agree, like the way they're set up, I like them as number 1.
I kind of disagree with that from a play calling perspective. When the Eagles are doing a no-huddle offense, they don't have Patullo spending the entire play clock calling plays, which is, I think, still one of the biggest issues with the Eagles. They wait till the last second to snap every single time so the defense can just time the snap too to make it even more fun. When they're playing no-huddle, I feel like the offense usually looks a lot better. So I think part of what the Eagles' issue is when they're actually up and they're calling plays and they just really suck at it.
That's all fine and well, but like I'm not saying I'm not saying that playing from behind is not the situation they want to be in from a like how effective they can be point of view. What I'm talking about is I'm maybe not sold on the idea that like, I mean, you spot any other big contender 12 points to start 14 points to start a game. It doesn't matter who you are. Like the NFL has margins too slim for that. Typically, you know, that could easily be a problem. That's all I'm saying, right? But yeah, no, I like the Eagles at 1. I think with the resurgence of the D line, it makes a lot of sense. It's the most complete roster by far. Hurts has been playing very well when he's playing, when he's calling the plays.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, no, I like the Eagles right now. I think they deserve 1.
Yeah. And I think number 2 is still Kansas City too.
I mean, I think the way we've talked about the Rams already and the Bills, like, we've made this clear. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just think right now Kansas City still has the most valuable asset in all of football, and Patrick Mahomes, and he's been looking great this year. The O-line has looked great, even with some of the personal issues that has occurred with what's his name? I'm blanking on his name. Josh Simmons.
Josh Simmons, yeah.
He's been away for a little bit, but they've stepped up though. Still, the O-line has looked solid, and
Jalen Moore has looked O-line. Solid until last game against the Bills.
Okay.
The Bills clearly figured out more.
Yeah.
Paired with, to be fair, some of those Bills defensive players having games of their lives. I mean, I haven't seen Joey Bosa look that spry in like 5 years.
Well, this was the Bills Super Bowl. Remember, yes. You have to remember, this is the Bills Super Bowl.
I mean, that's why they lost to the Panthers this week. I mean, they were hungover.
Or it was Miami. It was Miami, which might even be
that's
worse.
Right. That's my bad. They lost to Miami. That's right. They did, in all fairness, 3 weeks ago, they did absolutely flatten the Panthers. My bad. En route to their Super Bowl. No, I mean, legitimately, though, I say that in jest, kind of, but, like, legitimately, Cole Bishop, typically he's a decidedly below average NFL safety. I was thinking that, like, Polamalu was back with his performance in that game across the middle of the field. No, I think the Chiefs, people are going to look at the 5-4 record, and they're going to think we're crazy. There's a lot of, people hopping, taking the opportunity to get back on the Chiefs' back and kind of like really go after them now, and with them being 5-4. But when you look at it, they've had a pretty tough schedule. Besides the Jaguars loss, they haven't really dropped a game against a team that is not a true playoff, relevant team. And, and that's fair to say, like, they've still lost those games. Those are games that, if you're going to put them 2 in the power rankings, they should go out and win. I just think there's a variety of reasons I look to as to why I would keep them up here for now, right? And so the first one is when we look at the Bills game, people would say, hey, like, it was a 1-score game, but they got flattened by the Bills. Like, they were dominant. It wasn't really a 1-score game. The Bills controlled that game, and I think that's fair. But Andy Reid and co. came into that game with a absolutely head-scratching, like, they clearly expected more man coverage. They never really adjusted throughout the game. There were no true adjustments like you would typically see out of an Andy Reid team. And it was just really perplexing from a game plan standpoint the entire time. And if we start seeing that regularly, and that becomes a thing, like, this is like the Chiefs' adjustments and the way they're going to scheme things up, if that's no longer, a superpower of the team, hey, I'm on board with dropping them, like, 8 spots even for now, right? It's just that I'm not going to do that off one game. All the other games, they've been fine in that respect. And so I think when you look at that being a problem, you had Jalen Moore instead of Joshua Simmons. You had Jawan Taylor get hurt in the Bills game. You had Trey Smith get hurt as well. Like and Kingsley Suamataia got hurt. So Trey Smith's been dealing with stuff. So you've had injuries everywhere except Creed Humphrey. And, to varying levels of severity, right, and problem, problem creation there. But when I look at that, when I look at those details, when I look at, the defense has some young pieces that are still figuring things out, the conclusion I kind of come to is, hey, the Bills game sucked. They still only lost by a score. Even so, some of the voodoo was still alive. And you've got all these things that I don't really expect to be a problem in the future. is how I keep them up here in the power rankings. If this starts to become a trend against the good teams, we're going to see them go out, the relatively good teams, we're going to see them go up against like the Colts and the Broncos. Now I start to get really concerned. We can start really dropping them down these rankings. But for now, like, the talent across the team is still there. I think the offense is still going to get moving. I think when the offensive line gets healthy, it's going to be a top unit. I mean, yeah. So
Yeah. Right now I feel pretty strongly about Chiefs 2, Rams 3, Bills 4. I think, yeah, maybe Bills could be tier 1 because if they win a Super Bowl, I wouldn't really be surprised.
I think we
But
should tier it off at 4 here. Is how I would do it. I
okay,
think
I
the
could agree
Bills
with that.
belong in that conversation. The thing I'll say about the Bills that is an absolute revelation, and this has been a whole season thing. This isn't the one game Cole Bishop wonder thing. Is Jackson Hawes, what they can do now out of 13 personnel is awesome. I mean, it's cool because, I mean, all those guys are ready to block, and they don't have to bring. They brought out the sixth offensive lineman more than
Yeah.
anybody last year. Now they're doing it almost never because they can just bring Jackson Hawes, their rookie tight end, out there, and he blocks like a 6'0" lineman. He's incredible,
Yeah.
and he can still catch the ball. And so, yeah, I think that in particular is a really nice recipe to attack certain playoff teams. I think if they end up in the Super Bowl and they get the Eagles, that's going to be a nice little recipe to deal with the Eagles front. I think if they get up into if they hit the Chiefs in the AFC, that's going to be a really nice recipe. The Rams, I think the Rams would have a really hard time dealing with heavy personnel like that. And so I think there's a lot of optimism there to have if you're a Bills fan. It's just that the defense has been so poor. I think they deserve to be 4. So
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that.
okay, so in tier 1, we've got the Eagles at 1, the Chiefs at 2, the Rams at 3, and the Bills at 4. Let's move on. Tyler, you want to give us another set of teams that you're kind of thinking of in this area?
Yeah, so I did only have 3 teams in my initial tier, but now when we move Bills, I have 2. But I'm going to expand this to
Yeah.
some of the next tier too. So I have the Lions, the Ravens, the Patriots, the Colts, and the Seahawks. I did also have Chargers and Packers in the next tier too, but I'd those 5 as a tier, like the later 5. But I think we could say all 5 of those. I think these are solid playoff teams. I think at this point.
Okay, yeah. I like the Lions the best. Do you like the Lions the best?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the Lions the best.
I think we're going to have a really interesting discussion about the Seahawks and the Colts.
Yeah.
I don't think the case. I think everybody knows what the deal is with the Lions and the Ravens. I will say I'm not sure I'm sold on the Ravens ahead of the Colts and the Seahawks yet.
I am. I still
All right,
think Lamar.
let me real quick. Let's put the Lions at 5.
Yeah, Lions at 5.
Okay.
Really no debate. I mean, we could talk about them a little bit, but they
Yeah,
still look like the same old
right.
Lions. I mean, Dan Campbell's calling plays now too. They're having fun out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to Eagles Lions this week, and I'm excited to watch it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I love how they use all the weapons except for the lack of usage for Tesla. Whatever. I'm not going to get on that in the power rankings episode. I can leave that be. But whatever. I love the way they're using everybody. They are what they used to be. That offense is, yeah, irresistible. So okay. At 6, you think Ravens definitively above the Colts and the Seahawks. Talk to me about. Let's focus specifically. Like, it's not like I don't believe in Lamar. I still thoroughly believe Lamar is the 3rd best quarterback in the league. Tremendous talent. Maybe not quite the playoff quarterback you want him to be, but really good. I think people are too low on Derrick Henry. Talk to me about what some of the deficiencies we've seen through the season are and why you think they're not keeping them out of 6 here. So, the defense, those pieces,
okay.
some of the offensive line issues that have kind of cropped up, and then you kind of really only have Zay Flowers doing a lot in the passing game.
Well, okay. It really comes down to the defense starting to look a lot better in recent weeks. I don't know if it was really just Lamar coming back or something, but even before then, the defense has improved, especially the secondary. We went into the season expecting the secondary to kind of be lighting it up. I mean, they put a lot of draft capital into that secondary. The players have looked good in previous years. Uh, First couple weeks were actually brutal, but last couple weeks it's been a really good secondary. I'm still a little bit concerned about the pass rush. I know they've been playing better. It's just lack of names there, but the guys there have been playing solid. I just think the defense is fundamentally well, and it really comes down to them having Lamar Jackson at QB. Like I know Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold have been playing great this year, but we're talking about Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold versus Lamar Jackson here. Like
Yeah.
it really is. I know football is a team sport, but when your QB is still that type of pedigree, like above the other two, it's really hard for me to rank them behind in the power rankings.
Okay. I think that's fair. I get it. Like, quarterback first, I do get it. Man, especially when I kind of compare head to head, though, I just. I'm worried about the Ravens situationally matching up against tough playoff teams. And I think what that comes down to is like, yes, has the defense gotten a lot better? Yes, it has. However, I don't know how you look against elite quarterbacks, and I don't know how you look against elite run games. So if you hit the Colts in the playoffs, and they trot Jonathan Taylor out there, and he's gearing up, ready to go, I'm not sure they can cope with that level of a run game. Same side of the coin, they hit the Chiefs in the playoffs. I'm not sure the defense is ready to actually like provide any resistance to Patrick Mahomes, despite them not being, the level of terrible that they were, early in the season. I mean, do you really think they've gotten to the point? Do you feel like you can see that they've gotten to the point in the last few weeks that they're back to being like a truly solid unit for in that context?
I'm seeing signs of it, and I think it's going as long as they're going in the right direction. I do, genuinely. I still think you can't count them out. And we went into the season, I had them really high. I know I was higher than on them this year than you were.
Mm.
Like I think I picked them to win the AFC, which
Well, yeah, I
obviously is
think
not
you
happening
had.
now. I had them at one, I think, in the AFC. Not for
I
playoffs,
thought
but in
Austin
terms
had
of
them at one.
no, I think I had
I
them
thought
at
you had
one.
the. I thought you had the Chiefs at
No,
one.
I think I had the Ravens at
Oh,
one.
Austin had the Chiefs at one.
Yeah, no, I just really thought that. I mean, they are a regular season type team, and maybe that's what we're seeing again. But when things are clicking for them, they're a tough team to beat. They can match up against anyone. They could run over anyone, and
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'll say my 2 cents on the defense. Roquan has showed flashes of being that guy again. Wiggins has been really good this season. This whole season, Wiggins has been good. It's just with so many people injured through a lot of it, it kind of doesn't matter when one corner is really good. And then I think you're kind of getting, some of those bodies along the defensive line healthy again. I just don't know that you're really getting impact plays. Kyle Hamilton's been really good, but outside of Hamilton and Wiggins, I don't know that they're playoff caliber. And I don't know. I'm just worried that they don't actually have the oomph to stand up and not get run over by some of these teams. But maybe I'm being overly harsh. I do like Lamar. I just want another thing here is like my worry with Lamar is like if they force you in a pass heavy script, I think he's still ready to do that with good pass pro. You're still only throwing to Flowers.
yeah.
And I have an issue with that against certain playoff teams,
One thing I am confused about the Ravens though is why they really haven't tried to get better weapons. Like you can really go out there and get a fairly cheap weapon for like a third or fourth round pick,
Dude,
even as a rental. Like
the Seahawks got Shaheed. I thought that would have been brilliant for the Ravens.
it doesn't cost a lot, and you get a value like a piece that would completely change your offense. I just don't get why teams in the NFL don't trade that much at the deadline. I think it's part of the reason why Howie is a great GM. I mean, there's a lot of misses at Howie in the deadline, but I mean, Eagles got Jalen Phillips, who completely changes the defense right there, costs a third, and if he leaves, they probably get a comp third back or comp fourth at the very minimum. It's like
Yeah.
make trades.
Certain positions make more sense than others due to the comp pick formula. But yeah, absolutely,
Yes.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of receivers from teams right now who are tanking or know that their season is over. Like I'm not saying get Jalen Waddle, and Miami still wants to keep on to him. You can get like guys like Shaheed for pretty much nothing, and it really confuses me why a lot of the top, especially AFC teams, don't really do this,
Yeah.
and they consistently don't do this too. Like when was the last time we've seen the Chiefs make a major deadline trade or Bills or
Kadarius Toney for a third.
yeah
To be fair, major impact in the Super Bowl that year. No,
yeah
not
yeah.
good process.
But it's like it just doesn't happen a lot, and I think it's kind of stupid. But
Yeah. Okay, I'm good with putting the Ravens at 6 on the very clear point that this is a Lamar pick,
yeah.
and I have serious problems that we're gonna get to with the Colts and the Seahawks. So, um, all right. So let's talk Colts and the Seahawks. Are there any other teams you want to throw in with the Colts and the Seahawks? Perhaps the Bucks, maybe, or any other teams, or do you think they're definitively above everybody else right now? Patriots, Packers.
I actually did have the Patriots higher than the Colts and the Seahawks. Really, just
Oh, I didn't hear you
yeah.
say them. My
Oh,
bad.
okay.
Did you list them?
Yeah, I
Okay.
put them. Okay, I actually did put the Ravens in a tier higher, but in the next tier, I had Patriots, Colts, Seahawks, Chargers, Packers.
I mean, in my opinion, Lions are in a tier of their own.
I could see that too.
Um, because I think they're a clear step above the Ravens.
Yeah,
So you think you want to argue for the Patriots at 7?
yeah, I think so. Really, just from the fact
Okay.
that what we're seeing out of Drake May, I think is more sustainable than what we're seeing out of Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Uh, Patriots are starting to find their running game, realizing that they have a super talented running back, and the O line is young relatively, and they're improving at run blocking too, which was
Mhm.
also an issue too. And I really think if the Patriots really just establish a good running game, or okay, even a league average running game, they're going to be unstoppable. And I
Ramondre's
think,
back soon. That's not happening.
yeah, yeah, okay. If they give Reigns back to Stevenson, okay, yeah, they drop a few spots, but
Okay. So here's the interesting thing with the Pats, in my opinion, is I would be absolutely slapping the idea of them this high, as much as I love what they've done. Okay. I think everybody knows I've been high in the past this whole season. However, I would be absolutely slapping them down being this high if it weren't for the fact that uh, so many of the good playoff teams don't have the great pass rushes. Like the
yeah,
really good pass rush units are the Broncos, which we kind of feel are more back into the playoffs. You've got the Texans who might not even make it. The Seahawks are all right, but you don't really have a star. The Browns are really good. They're nowhere near the playoffs. When you look at the top pass rushing units in the NFL, you don't see a lot of them ending up in the playoffs. And so if the Patriots were going to have to face multiple of those teams en route to a potential, into an extended playoff run, I would be pretty scared because I think the O-line is still pretty fragile against good pass rushes, and in particular, ace pass rushers are kind of just beyond Will Campbell right now. He's really, really good against, at being
yeah,
solid, but when someone's just way more physically, adept than him, it's a problem. So that's what I would kind of say is I'm kind of okay with it because I think that's a serious deficiency. However, I don't know that these teams are, the other teams are really gonna make it show up. So yeah, I think that's interesting. I love Drake May. I think he's legitimately played like the third or fourth best quarterback in the NFL so far this year. I think it's like Mahomes, Allen, Stafford, and like him if you're just rating it on the last 10 games.
yeah,
He's been
yeah.
incredible.
And I just love what they can do to teams. Like they can really attack them from any direction.
The explosive
I
plays have
don't.
been brilliant.
Yeah, it's really hard to stop because like yeah, you have to play too high. I feel like
Hmm.
and they're taking advantage of it. Like, all right now, I think schematically, they're in a really good spot. I wasn't really expecting it too much going into this season. I think that was part of why I didn't really consider them contenders at the start of the season. I mean, did you?
I
I
mean,
don't think you
no,
did either.
yeah, obviously. I mean, I think I had him slipping in as the sixth seed. I think, you
Yeah, I
know,
think I had them missing the playoffs.
right? Yeah, I think I
I
was
was
the.
expecting May to be looking this good.
I think Austin and I called them into the wild card, but didn't think there was any shot of them winning the division or being competitive against the Bills, Ravens, or Chiefs. The thing I'll say is also in the AFC, I think they're pretty well suited to go up against a lot of these AFC teams. When you look at it, you know, the secondaries aren't that great. I think you
Yeah,
can take it to a lot of them. Especially if they hit the Bills again. I don't see any reason why they couldn't beat the Bills in the playoffs. It's just probably a shootout. I think the defense is getting a little overrated right now. Would be I think they've improved for sure, and I love Christian Gonzalez and some of the pieces they have. However, I still think the pass rush isn't very good. The linebackers aren't very good, and so teams like the Bills are going to be able to really run on them. I would be pretty scared about most of the NFC teams really creating a shootout against them in a potential Super Bowl matchup. But yeah, no, I think overall they're really good. I'd be okay. I'd be okay with putting them there. I love May. He's so good.
yeah. Okay. So you put Patriots 7.
I do not think they're a tier above the Colts or the Seahawks, though.
I had them in the same tier. But
And I think the Ravens fit into that tier too, as well. Honestly, I
I
have
just
enough
think the
qualms with
QB
them.
kind of.
I
That's just my
but
take
if we're
on it.
gonna
But
make that case for Lamar, I think we're honestly at the point where we'd make that case for May, and I'm not comfortable doing that either. I really see the Seahawks and or not the Seahawks, the Ravens and the Patriots very similarly
yeah, I could kind of
in
see that
terms of the
too.
arguments, comparing them to the really built out teams like the Colts and the Seahawks.
It's just we've seen more sustained success for Lamar, which is why I feel a little bit safer. But not playoff success, but in terms of just success dominating teams, it, you know, May's still a second year player.
That's fair.
Lamar's already a Hall of Famer.
I think May
Like,
plays better in the clutch though.
yeah,
Lamar
okay,
clearly
well,
plays
you
worse
could
than
say the
he.
same thing about Daniel Jones, maybe, over Lamar. Nah, but
I mean, well, like
yeah,
the, I'm talking about May improves his play in the clutch.
yeah,
Lamar does not play as well in the clutch. That argument doesn't matter so much for me with Daniel Jones because they're not even in the same stratosphere of play. So even if Lamar plays worse in the clutch, it doesn't matter. He's still always going to be better than Daniel Jones. you know,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. No, I agree.
So, okay, Colts or Seahawks? Who do we want to put at 8?
Uh, I personally view the Colts as being a little bit better, mainly from the fact that I think their O line this year has been special, and I think they can kind of use that. While I still think Seattle's O line has been good, but it's just not the Colts. Like, it's really tough because right now both teams have looked absolutely incredible, and I don't think anyone was expecting these teams to even look half decent this year. Maybe Seattle look league average, but they've been looking great. Darnold's been looking better than he did last year, which I didn't think was even possible.
Okay,
But
I'm gonna put this out here because this is kind of how I've been thinking about it. I like the Seahawks more as a team. I like the Colts more in terms of their ability to crack a game open and just like Lions a team, you know, and just brutalize them on their way to a victory. I I don't know. I see shades of the Lions a couple of years ago in the Colts, and I see shades of the Vikings from last year in the Seahawks. Not just because of Darnold, but
yeah,
all of it, right? The other thing I'll say about the Seahawks is I really, really, really like the Shaheed edition. I think it makes so much
it
sense.
does.
My problem with both teams is pretty similar in that, like, once you stop them, good playoff teams are not going to let you live off play action. It's
Yeah,
just tried and true. You get into the playoffs, you hit the good playoff teams, you don't get to live off play action. It happens every single year. Some team's been thriving off of it, has been hiding their bad quarterback all year long, has a great record, and then they hit at a good team in the playoffs, and they don't let them, really thrive in that role, and all of a sudden everything comes crashing down. And I think that's a major potential case with both teams. It's just with the Colts, I think there's the question of, like, can you stop the run game? It might not be possible for even some playoff teams.
Yeah, especially Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think right now Buffalo really does not match well against it. Like if I'm the Bills, I might like throw a game to avoid them. That's what the first round matchup will be, because they've been struggling against some mediocre running teams, and now you have to go against the Colts. I know Bills' defense in the playoffs is going to look better, especially against a run. Every team in the playoff does, because your game planning for your entire season comes down to this.
Right.
Same reason why a lot of running teams usually do struggle in the playoffs. But yeah, I don't see this Buffalo team being able to stop that
Yeah.
Colts rushing
No,
attack.
I agree with you. They just don't have the bodies.
And even so, I think Bills' corners are still not great either. Even if they overcommit to a run, I think these guys are gonna get exposed a little bit out there.
I'm willing to see what Harrison can give us, but yeah, I think it's unlikely that they're going to be great. So
Yeah, but yeah, it's tough between the Colts and Seahawks. I see what your point is.
I,
'Cause
I just
I
I
would think
think the
Seattle's defense
Seahawks.
over.
Right. I take the Seahawks defense by a significant amount. I don't give a. I like Lou Anarumo, to be clear. I don't give a shit about the Sauce Gardner trade. He was not worth anywhere close to two firsts for this team.
Yeah,
To be clear, that's a whole different issue. I want to have a podcast about Daniel Jones and like what this trade means and all that, and clearly like they're latching themselves to Daniel Jones, and I think there's a lot of fascinating aspects that we could do a whole episode on. I want to have that conversation, but just regardless, I think it's Seahawks defense by a mile. Now the value of the defense is significantly less than the offense, in the NFL. But the other thing is, I just think the Seahawks have more. I think both teams get hurt a lot when the play action gets shut down, but I think the Seahawks have more tools to play in a variety of ways on offense than the Colts do. It's just that the Colts have that run game as the trump card.
yeah, no.
So I think
I
it just
think
really it's what do
really
you want to
the
go
coin
with,
flip
the game
almost.
breaking ability or the more well rounded team? I think the quarterbacks are pretty similar.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I would lean Seahawks at 8, but
Okay.
if you
Yeah,
want to go
I'm
the
fine
other way,
doing.
that's fine.
I'm fine doing Seahawks at 8.
Okay. Seahawks go at 8, and the Colts go at 9. We're going to do a tier break there. I think that makes a ton of sense. So, like we said, we have Eagles at 1, Chiefs at 2, Rams at 3, Bills at 4. That's a tier break. Then the Lions at 5 in their own tier. And then the Ravens at 6, the Patriots at 7, the Seahawks at 8, and the Colts at 9 is our tier there. Tyler, do you think that's the drop off? Is this the point where we're saying anybody else, like, this isn't even we can't even squint our eyes and see a Super Bowl?
Maybe I still think there are the next three I have could, if they really are playing up to their potential, but they're not. That's kind of where I have the next tier.
Okay. Let's talk about the next
But
three, and then let's come back and let's decide where we're going to make that Super Bowl break, because I think that's something we like to do, and it's informative.
yeah, because the next three I have are the Chargers, the Packers, and the Bucks. And I really think that these three teams, on paper, should be ahead of a lot of the other teams that we just mentioned, but really just aren't playing how they should, in my opinion. I think right now the Packers' defense is, but the offense looks uninspired, and I really don't understand because maybe it's part of LaFleur's play calling. Maybe he's being ultra conservative in the regular season, but that game against the Eagles was one of the worst called games I think I've ever seen by a play caller ever. And I mean, he's obviously shown in the past that he is a great play caller, but that was pathetic.
Yeah.
Like and I understand there was nothing the Packers could do. They couldn't do any sort of standard drop back passing. It did not work. Every single time they did it, Love was instantly pressured, and most of the time just threw up the ball randomly. And I understood, so he was trying to avoid that. But it's like if you have that, I think there's a fundamentally flawed issue with your offense if you can't just do standard drop back passing. Like, uh, however, I still think Packers defense is one of the best units in the
Yeah.
league overall. They've been
I
playing like
love
it.
what not only what the talent looks like, but what Halfley's done scheme wise continues to really impress me.
Yeah, and I think it works against a lot of these top end teams too. Like, yeah, I know Eagles did shoot themselves in the foot a lot that game, but the defense did impact them. Like,
No, you've got the pieces you want to go after even good quarterback, really good quarterbacks.
yeah, and they play their defense. It feels very controlled to me too. Like, it doesn't feel chaotic. They just play really good fundamental football, and it works against anyone. It's not a gimmicky type defense where it's 100% blitz rate or something like that. That obviously gets picked apart by the top level QBs a lot of the times. Like it's a very unique zone heavy scheme and it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I could easily put the Packers at 9 because of that. I still put the Chargers a little bit ahead, mostly from the fact that I still support Herbert over Love.
I love Herbert, and I do. I just, man, I think the O-line's in shambles, and I just think it's going to get worse. The more tape teams get on that, the more they realize the small things they can do with stunts and games and just particular techniques against particular linemen, the worse it's going to get. And
Yeah,
I think it's kind of been like that ever since we knew Slater was going to be hurt because the interior already sucked. And now you have to play a bad tackle too. I I kind of think they're a lot lower.
a lot lower, you think?
I think both the Packers and the Bucks over them, and I would bring in the Broncos over them too.
I think it's close between. Uh, I still put them above Broncos.
We can have that discussion, but I feel pretty firmly that it should be Packers and Bucks in the next two, in whichever order in the next two spots before it comes to the Chargers.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
Plus,
you are right.
I they kind of live and die by a couple of players on defense, and good teams are going to really expose that.
Yeah, but their defense once again. I think I think the third straight year where they've been overperforming with little talent. I think that's part of Jesse Minter coming in and really being a really good defensive play caller.
Yeah,
But
no, for
it's
sure.
obviously his scheme with them. But like, I don't know. It still is a solid defensive unit. The pass catching weapons are way better than anyone could have expected this year. And they still have Justin Herbert. I know the O line is shot, and they want to run the ball. You can't run the ball without an O line, especially without good tackles. And it sucks because going into this year, they had the best tackle duo in all of football, easily. I think. Eagles still maybe make it
It's close,
close,
but
but
they're in the conversation.
yeah. Well, they're younger too, but they're also injured every second. Like
Yeah,
that's. But yeah, okay. I'm fine moving the Chargers down a little bit. I actually still would put the Packers over the Bucks though.
I agree with that. I think, especially in terms of potential, and that's actually where I would suggest we draw the Super Bowl line. I think the Packers are a very outside shot. Don't get me wrong, but like you're right. If the dominoes fall and you get a streak from Love, maybe Jaden Reed coming back provides like some of the RPO stuff and the dedicated touches and things like that really get the offense grinding again. Maybe you get a little bit better play out of Jacobs. Like I think there's just all these little things. They all line up. The Packers are like slingshot up in terms of like Super Bowl chances, up the rankings. So that's actually where I would suggest we put the line is we put the Packers at 10 and that's our Super Bowl window line.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. Just from the fact that the Bucks, I just don't see them. Even if Baker is on a heater, which he easily could be, I just think the team is still too fundamentally flawed in a lot of aspects.
The
I
defense isn't going
really,
to hold up for 4 games.
yeah, it won't.
There's no shot.
They're not holding up as it is in a regular season.
Right.
Like,
There's no way over a 4 game stretch that they're going to put together good enough play that Baker's not going to get outscored at some point.
yeah,
I respect a lot what they've been able to do. I think Baker really has kind of proven me wrong a little bit. Like he's truly kind of leveled up his game this year. I think it's different from the last few years what he's been able to do. Even so, I really don't care. I don't think they're good enough.
okay.
I think
Yeah,
they're a
so,
great team to go take it to all the teams below them on this list. But yeah,
okay. Yeah, I think we could say Packers at 10, line, Bucks 11.
I don't want to necessarily give the Packers their own line like tier in terms of power rankings. I just want to note that like that's where my Super Bowl is possible
Yeah,
line stops, right?
yeah. Every team past them, I will not believe you if you told me, oh, they won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, there's a reality where I'm like, okay, yeah, this happened. It must have been impressive,
Right.
but
There were a bunch of things that happened clearly, but yeah, it makes sense.
yeah,
I think you can make the case
yeah.
with everybody for sure. All right. So let's talk. Now that we're putting the Chargers here, I'm not saying you have to definitively think they're a conversation. I'm just saying, are there any other teams that you kind of think, if I'm going to throw the Broncos into this conversation, we're going to talk about them and the Chargers, are there any other teams that you kind of fit that, whether you still think the Chargers are clearly above them or not, are there any other teams that you kind of fit that convo, or do you think it should just be between the Chargers and the Broncos?
For me, I actually think it's Chargers, Broncos, and then a tear drop off
Okay.
after that, just from the fact that the other teams, I really don't know if they're even playoff teams at this
Yeah.
point.
No,
Like,
I'm good with that. I think you can shout teams like the Jags, the Steel, like people would shout
yeah,
teams like the Jags, the Steelers, the um, the 49ers and the
Niners.
Bears. Like I think those are the types of teams that like we could get shouted at us. I just think there's a significant difference. So yeah, okay, I'm cool with that. So let's start Chargers versus Broncos. I love Herbert, and it's a big gap between him and Nix. I want to be like abundantly clear about this. Nix has been terrible all year, and I don't really see it turning around because I think the reason why he's been terrible is teams have figured out that there's like 3 real NFL throws he's good at. Like he's got this dig
Yeah,
throw to Cortland Sutton, where Sutton turns and Nix just lays on him. Don't get me wrong, the arm talent's great, but like Nix is just purely throwing to a spot and hitting Sutton. And Sutton's a good receiver, right? He's got that. He's got a reasonably good deep ball, but it's not like it's nicely thrown. It's just not very consistent in terms of like connection, and that's kind of it. And so, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of issues with Bo Nix, and I don't like it. However, the O line's really good. I think the run game could be better over the back half of the season, and the defense is just it's the best in football. I
yeah.
mean, you can make arguments about the Seahawks and the Packers and the Texans and da 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 da. The Broncos is the best in football in my opinion. They are just stacked, and they can really play teams however they want. And when I just compare that to the Chargers, I just don't see outside of Herbert and McConkey and Johnson and Gadsden just like making miracle plays. You know what I'm saying? It just seems so superfluous compared to, you know, the solid rock that the Broncos defense and offensive line give me.
My issue with the Broncos of just watching their offense looks very anemic at times. Like it's crazy how bad it could look. And I think a large part of that is them abandoning the run game. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen them do it a lot this year, where they just go pass, 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 and Bo Nix usually fails, 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 fails. When that happens, Sean Payton obviously, uh, Hall of Fame coach, like, but sometimes I really don't know what he's doing out there, Bo Nix, and maybe I mean it's a tough to deal if you're dealing with a QB who's being thrust into a team that probably should have a better QB than him, and he's trying to make do with what he got. Like, so not they can't really move on
Yeah.
from Bo. You're not going to get someone better off the street than him, but it's like. just watching that offense last week against the Raiders, it was bad. It was scary bad to the point where like I have a tough time seeing them compete with a lot of other teams that we have around this list. While like, I mean, yeah, if their defense does hold a top tier team to 12 points, sure, they're probably gonna win that game. But if that team does deliver on a few deep balls or something like that, or gets 21 points, I have a hard time seeing them win.
Yeah. No, I think it's fair. There's some serious lows to the Broncos. I get that. I don't know. I guess I'm just getting hung up on the roster thing.
Yeah, I just think I mean they are uh 7-2, or are they 8-2 now or something like that?
Um, I think they're 8-2. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're 8-2, have a few quality wins, but also like a lot of those wins have looked ugly.
Yeah, the strength of schedule, if you base it off of how well teams have been doing this year, the strength of schedule is, but like, I think their opponents have like a 32% win percentage, something like
Oh
that.
well.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. And I mean, especially when you have a great defense like they do, it's really tough going against them, especially when you have a QB who is below average. Like a below average QB won't do anything against the Broncos, but we're talking about the Broncos against
Right.
top tier
Good
teams
teams. Yeah.
who can have some sort of offense success. Like offense still beats defense, and that's kind of why I prefer the Chargers. I could just see them having the firepower on offense to match up with teams better than I see the Broncos doing.
Okay. That's fair. I think it's okay. I think the Broncos would be a really scary team for certain teams to hit in the playoffs. I think. Like the Colts.
Yeah,
I don't think the Colts want any piece of the Broncos.
but if we saw the Bills, just like last year, I think it might be something like that, where Buffalo is still able to score because as great as their defense is, I don't know if they're going to be able to really contain Josh Allen.
Okay, but it's Daniel Jones. It's not Josh.
I
Like,
know I'm talking about
I'm
the
saying the
Bills, though.
Broncos, I think would take. I think in a playoff game, the Broncos defense is the Colts run game is that's one of the few matchups like your run game might get stopped stone cold.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I would not like that matchup if I were the Colts.
Like I'd want almost anybody else other than the Chiefs.
However, if I were the Chiefs, I think you kind of want the Broncos.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think the Bills want the Broncos again.
Yeah. Let
Like I think
Spag
a lot of
spin
those
Nix's head. Yeah, yeah. No,
I think a
absolutely.
lot of those teams would love it.
So yeah, I
But
think that's
yeah,
fair, and I think that's why I'm okay with saying like the Chargers generally. If I'm thinking about it from another team's perspective, I'm generally more scared of the Chargers. It's just there are a few teams I'd be pretty scared of if I was like if I'm then I'm talking about facing the Broncos. So okay, I'm good with that. We'll put the Chargers at 12, the Broncos at 13, and then we're tier breaking, right?
yes.
Okay. So here's what we've got. We've got the Eagles at 1, the Chiefs at 2, the Rams at 3, and the Bills at 4. That's our tier 1. Lions in their own tier at 5. The Ravens at 6, the Patriots at 7, the Seahawks at 8, the Colts at 9. That's a tier. And then we've got the Packers at 10. That's the end of our Super Bowl window in terms of what we think is possible. And then we've got the Bucks, Chargers, Broncos rounding out that tier at 11, 12, 13. And now we're on to 14. You want to give? I think I already threw out a few, but we want to put together 4 or 5 teams that we think can start to be in the conversation here, Tyler.
Yeah, so the next teams on my list are the Bears, the Niners, the Texans, the Jags, Vikings, and Steelers. It's kind of where I have as the next tier broken down.
Okay. I think I just want to throw it out there. The Texans are very Broncos-like, obviously, and that situationally, certain teams want to be super scared of the Texans. Otherwise, kind of is what it is. They're not going to do a whole
Yeah.
lot to you.
Yeah,
The ironic thing is I don't think it changes that much with Stroud or Davis Mills. I don't think it matters that
it
much.
doesn't. It really doesn't.
I almost even want to put this out there. I was kind of I didn't get to watch the game myself fully. That Davis Mills game this weekend, but I kind of think based off of what I've seen and some of what people have told me, I kind of think Davis Mills might be like significantly better with the pass protection calls than Stroud is. Obviously not the
Yeah,
arm
maybe.
that Stroud has, the decision making that Stroud has, but the pass protection calls, which this New England system that they're running really places a lot on the quarterback in that respect. I think Mills might be a lot better at it.
Yeah, I really think they scapegoated Slowick,
Yeah.
genuinely, and they removed the best offensive mind in the building, and now are kind of running around without their head.
Yeah.
But their defense is an amazing unit, so they're surviving.
I think Slowick could have used help. I
Yes.
certainly don't think like how everything was handled there with the O line was great, but yes, I don't think there was a reason to send Slowick out. I think some teams should definitely look at him to be their OC this season, this upcoming offseason.
Yeah, completely agreed.
All right, I derailed us with the Texans there. They're not going to be our 14th team by any means,
Yeah,
I don't think.
yeah.
So let's talk about some of the more realistic options here. I kind of like the Bears.
My issue with the Bears is I really watched a full game of them last week, the entire thing, and from what I saw of Caleb Williams is he had his first read that he threw 100% of the time predetermined every snap. I don't think I've
Yeah,
ever seen it happen before. Like I've seen times where if he just threw to his second read, would have been a wide open 40-yard touchdown because Ben Johnson is doing amazing things there right now. The O line's been one of the best units this year magically, and a large part of that is due to scheme. And but when I watch him have a predetermined read behind the sticks and who is being covered and watch him
yeah.
throw and almost get picked off without even like considering whether or not the first read about the guy like doing a bubble screen. It's just which
I
has
get
multiple options built in. It's crazy.
I get
Like
it. It's just
I
that the
I
run game's coming along, the defense is kind of figuring things out, and they've got a ton of weapons.
I
But
really don't think
do you have a
Caleb
team
Williams
you
is this
like?
bad.
Do you have a team you like better?
No, I do have him as my highest, but this is it, I'm disgusted to put them this high.
All
Like
right,
I
I get
don't
it.
think
Yeah,
Caleb Williams is a bad QB, but Ben Johnson is really making him like a Mac Jones. It's crazy. Like he is. Okay, Caleb Williams still has the athleticism. He still is making some crazy throws
some
that
of
are
these
crazy
throws he
run
makes,
angles.
there's really not that many other quarterbacks in the NFL who can make them. Some of these
It's just
throws,
he's not reading the field though at all. It's crazy. Like
yeah,
I don't think he gets talked like we've seen a lot of uh guys get called system QBs, and I don't think I've ever heard it with him, but he might be the most system QB right now. And
that's
that's
fair.
the only reason he's not because he makes the crazy throws. But like those
Yeah,
were he knew he was throwing that before the ball was snapped. Like I hate to say it, but he does not read the field at all. And
yeah,
I I like him and I'm rooting for him, but Ben Johnson obviously put some training wheels on him and it's working relatively, but I think in order to really be a contender, you need to take those training wheels off.
yeah.
Maybe he's not ready though. For all we know.
I think it's a big work in progress because I don't think Ben Johnson wants him going out there and doing things that he's not actually like there yet with. I don't think he wants him learning in game. I think Johnson hates losing too much to do that. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to have to be a next offseason thing to really like implement those things.
And I think
Whether
because
they're
of that,
learning them right now or not, it's going to be a next offseason thing to like implement it. So
I think that's probably why I would put the Bears right here, right now.
yeah,
Just from the
that's
fact that their ceiling is limited because of that. Like, however, you look at the receiver separation stats and stuff like that too. They are beyond off the charts. A lot of the O line stuff. I mean, the running game is ridiculous too, without even like amazing running back talent. It's just the blocking's great. Like those great OCs can make any running game work. I feel like so much about run game is scheme, and they're doing a great job at it.
Yeah.
And the defense has come together too. I can't put any other team over the Bears. That's kind of how I view it.
yeah, that's fair. I get being disgusted at it though. I understand.
Yeah.
All right. I think I would throw in the 49ers the next spot. They're kind of who I like.
Yeah, I have
but-
them next too.
Okay, cool. Little bit on the 49ers. I think Tyler and I probably feel very similar about the 49ers. So if you disagree with any of this stuff, we can have a conversation. But if not, I'm just going to give a little recap for anybody watching. The 49ers, I think people don't understand. If Warner and Boza were healthy, would be at like 8 or 7 on this list. What Shanahan has pulled off with Jones And the fact that this team is still littered with talent, it's just a bunch of it's injured. This team is still really, really good. And the defense it's in an unfortunate position. I think Salah's been good. I think he's been better than, I'm forgetting what his name was last year. But Salah's been good. He's been solid. It's just an unfortunate circumstance with Warner and Bosa being hurt. And just McCaffrey and Kittle and what they've been able to do with just scheming that stuff up, they're really, really good, and it's kind of irresistible for a lot of teams. And so, yeah, I can pretty easily, anybody below them on this list, they will give absolute fits to in a game, even if they don't win it, they will absolutely make it a really tough game and a really annoying one at that. And that even goes for a bunch of the teams above them on this list. They will still make that an annoying game to play.
Yeah, I am still a believer that Brock Purdy is a million times better than Mac Jones too.
I don't know about
Mac Jones
million,
been playing,
but yes, he's a lot better.
Significantly. The mobility helps out a ton.
Yeah,
and I'm impressed that Shannon's been making it work, especially with Juwan Jennings being injured almost every week. Pearsall, he's been out for a while now too. It's like they're starting almost like very low tier receivers and making it work.
That's been the extraordinary thing for sure.
I just think it's still, with all the injuries, and I know there's probably going to be a lot more too. Like, I know Michael Williams is now out for the season after he was starting to look fairly promising. It's just constant injury after injury after injury. It's hard for me to put them above the teams we already named because I genuinely just don't think the roster's that talented compared to them now. Like,
yeah.
Present now. If they were full strength, I think I had them number 2 as my 2 seed in NFC pre, and I actually still kind of think that they could be. Maybe I would probably give it to the Lions. I would still give it to the Lions.
I think with Warner and Bosa done, it's.
I'm saying like given full strength.
I
think I would put them like still 2 or 3. Like, I just didn't know how the Lions were going to look without Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
And Glenn. But I think they're probably 2 or 3 at full strength in the NFC.
Yeah. No, that's fair. No, I absolutely. Okay.
It's just they're not full strength right now, so I think we agree on that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so sorry, remind me of the next couple teams you want to talk about.
The next couple teams I had Jags, Vikings, Texans, and Steelers.
Okay, yeah. I hate the Steelers, man.
I actually had them last out of all those teams.
Yeah, they're a despicable franchise. I might even let's leave them at the end of after these 3. I might even push for them to be a little lower, but what a despicable team and what a despicable way to go about putting a product on a football field.
Yeah.
It's just
not it's painful.
To be clear, I'm not talking morally to anyone who's going to get mad at me, but like just from a we want to go win football games perspective, this is sad. Like, this is really sad.
We want 9 wins. We want 9 wins. It's like I will say they kind of amaze me how they consistently shake up their roster and still manage to end up at the same exact result every year.
It's just, this is a truly despicable way to go about planning a team for a league that should be all about winning the Super Bowl. All right. Texans, Jags, and who was the other?
Vikings.
Yes. Sorry, Vikings.
I would actually probably put the Texans first out of all these teams. I do think they have the biggest defense.
They have the best unit by far. It's not even close. Trevor Lawrence, if Trevor Lawrence wasn't playing so bad right now, I would absolutely be pulling them up this list. But he is playing like
he's playing beyond atrocious.
Yeah, I'll give you the Texans. I'm still impressed with Cohen though. I'll just say that. Although I don't.
Yeah.
Because I am kind of thinking right now that the Brian Thomas Jr. thing is on Brian Thomas Jr. and not the coaching staff, but maybe it is on the coaching staff. That might change my answer if I was, able to actually watch things in their facility. Maybe they're not giving him the confidence he needs, but I kind of think it's just a him problem. So let's go Texans at 16.
Yeah, he's an LSU receiver. You have to remember that.
Yeah,
and those guys are always had cases, and it's.
You never know how it's going to present itself either, yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot to keep those guys in control. Tough thing to manage, but you reap the rewards when they're successful.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now I have a hard. The Jags have been another team that's just painful to watch,
Yeah.
considering how bad they have been underperforming the last couple weeks. The product on the field, and I think a large part of it is Trevor Lawrence, because I actually don't think Cohen's giving him the training wheels like I see with Caleb Williams. He's expecting Trevor Lawrence to run an NFL offense, and he's just falling short, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, the
Like
screens are still there. The screen
they're
game's
they're
been good.
still,
It's just
yeah,
like he's expecting him to not live on that.
yeah.
And I don't know, maybe Cohen needs to not do that, but I kind of think maybe what he's doing is, as the head coach compared to what he would typically do as an offensive coordinator, is like he's just of the mind that like I'm going to run what I would need to run in order to succeed, at a high level. And if the quarterback just can't do it, well, the quarterback's going to be gone and I'm going to find a new guy. I kind of think
Well,
that's the attitude.
yeah, and I actually think Jacksonville, out of all the teams who have these bad QB contracts right now, I think they're one of the more likely to just dump it and deal with it.
Right,
Like
you're
I think a
early
lot
on.
of
The
these,
coach has plenty of leverage. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I think they would probably be the team to move on from them. I think all the other teams are kind of just mostly stuck with them
Yeah, the
at this
Packers are
point.
too slotted in. I mean, the Dolphins, I think,
Dolphins might have
might
to,
just have to eat it, but that's not really the same thing,
yeah,
right? It's not a conscious decision about the quarterback so much as like a fire sale.
yeah.
So yeah. Okay. I think Texans 16. I would lean Vikings at 17. Um,
I could see that over the
I
Jags.
just I'd rather trust in Kevin O'Connell.
It's
And
just their,
Brian Flores, the brain trust combination.
it's just McCarthy's been really bad.
Yeah, and he's
It's
probably even
painful.
been worse than Lawrence. However, counterpoint, they have a significantly better O line. They have better weapons. And I think I like Flores as the defensive schemer. Don't get me wrong, the Jags' defense scheme has been really good this year compared to what it's been. However, Flores is another tier in my opinion. And so
Yeah,
just all those things put together, I'd rather take the Vikings as problematic as they've been this year.
I can see that. Yeah, I'm okay with that. But McCarthy, wow. I
It's
was
bad.
actually fairly high on him going into this year too.
I had a lot of faith in
Um,
Kevin O'Connell. I thought he kind of couldn't fail as long as it was a certain level, and maybe that's just what it is. It's like because I know Carson Wentz isn't even that certain level. Maybe McCarthy just isn't either.
yeah, I just really thought Kevin O'Connell was gonna dumb it down for him, and maybe he is to some degree, and McCarthy still is failing, which makes me really concerned for him long term. But yeah, I mean, the physical talent with him is there. I mean, the way he whips the ball at the speed of light every other pass is
The
impressive to
throws outside
watch.
the numbers are really nice.
It's just, yeah, he just doesn't look ready for a guy who got a whole year of just being in the NFL, not playing, but still gaining experience,
Yeah.
watching tape from one of the best play callers in the league. Like he's had all the resources, and I'm really concerned about him not putting it together because I thought he was going to be one of those more instant impact guys when he came out there because he had a year of experience
Yeah.
beforehand.
No, I agree with you. I was hoping it was going to look a lot more like some of these other guys, but it really hasn't. So okay, let's. I think we're there. We can kind of move through these teams at a little bit of a quicker pace. Steelers. Let's tier break after the Vikings. I'm pissed off enough about the Steelers that like.
Yeah, I'm okay with dropping them down a tier two because
So yeah, we'll have Bears at 14, 49ers at 15, Texans at 16, Vikings at 17. That's a tier there. All right, let's talk Steelers. Uh, Bengals maybe.
I have the no defense teams in this tier.
Cowboys, Bengals, and Panthers.
Washington. I
Washington.
have Washington
I
above
don't
the
know. They
Panthers.
might be cooked, dude.
They might be, but I still think their offense looks decent, but their defense has been so atrocious that I'm not even. Yeah, you might be right. Maybe I'm still a little bit too high on
It's
them.
bad. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Um, the weapons just aren't playing as good as last year is the biggest problem I think for them. But
Yeah, but McLaurin's also been out too, and he will be back. And
yeah, as much as I hate the Steelers, I don't think they're in the conversation with the Commanders though. So
yeah, no, I have them a tier lower.
Commanders, uh, bu- 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 Commanders, Bengals, Cowboys. I think is what we need to talk here.
Commanders, Bengals, Cowboys.
Not
okay.
Commanders.
And
Steelers, Bengals, Cowboys.
Steelers, Bengals. Okay.
Cowboys.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
I kind of like the Cowboys.
Over the Steelers.
A little bit.
They have more upside, but like that defense can let any team, including the teams ranked, I think 32 on our list, drop 30 on them.
Okay. To be clear, let's address the trade deadline stuff.
Yeah, okay.
The linebacker was not playing for the Bengals. He should be erased from your mind. Do not think of, like, I'm telling this to literally anybody watching the NFL.
Yeah.
Do not consider that any sort of a real addition to the team, okay? He was not playing for the Bengals.
Yeah.
All right, now that that's out of the way, they are getting Demarion Overshown back from IR,
Who is a playmaker.
who was legitimately very good last year. He might not be the same level of athlete right off the bat, so that's a little bit of a question mark, but you are getting Demarion Overshown, and obviously Quinnen Williams is a significant impact addition. So maybe, just maybe, the defense can be like 20th?
Yeah, maybe.
You know?
I mean, if they're 20th, yeah, sure, then they easily belong here.
But I mean, if they're 20th, they're like 12. That's like 12 spots better than the Bengals.
Yeah.
And only like 10 spots
corners.
behind the Steelers. Or like 5
Yeah.
spots behind the Steelers.
Yeah.
And I like the offense way better than the Steelers.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah.
They've actually found the run game this year.
I guess it really just goes down to the fact that, like, at least the Cowboys are trying to win. Like, that's really why I could consider them putting them. I still think I would take the Steelers team overall. But I think the Cowboys are trying to win while I don't even know what the Steelers are doing right now.
Okay, let me put it this way. I think Dak is noticeably better than Rodgers. I think the O-lines are kind of a wash, but I'd tilt it towards the Cowboys. I think the offensive skill talent is better in the Cowboys' respect. And so I think the offense tilts pretty heavily in the Cowboys' favor, and I just don't care about the Steelers' defense that much. Any good team doesn't have a problem with it because they don't do anything other than like 3 plays.
Yeah, but the Cowboys also get absolutely zero edge pressure whatsoever. I know maybe Quinnen Williams will help with that.
I think Quinnen Williams
matchups.
will free up Ezraku a little bit more.
Maybe, but yeah, they just don't get the edge pressure to really do much. I mean, their corners are, I would say by far the worst, but Washington exists, and their corners this year have been kind of historic. So, like, but the Cowboys corners have been really bad. The linebacker play has been even worse. I mean, yeah, but they're getting Overshown back, who is an improvement.
I don't know. I like the Cowboys at 18 a lot better than the Steelers, but if you want to keep the Steelers up there, I'm okay with it.
No, I'll put the Cowboys there because they are trying to win.
I know you got the NFC East thing, but like
The NFC East right now is really like I know no team has won it back to back, but it would take a momentous choke at this point for the Eagles not to easily walk in and clinch it by like week 13 or 14. Like, it should be pretty easy. Like, it's really a bad division right now. I don't even think it's bad in terms of just coaching, really, or anything like that. It's really like every team's just collapsed this year from where they could be. But even where they could be is like borderline playoff team. And none of them are even remotely like that. Like, I was expecting the Eagles to have an easy division this year.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was going to be more competitive by quite a bit. All right, Steelers at 19. I'll give them that, and I think that leads us to the Bengals at 20. I don't know that there's a lot to say about the Bengals. They can outduel. If they get into a duel, they can outduel anybody within, anybody even like 7 spots higher on them than this list. On this list, it's just that like the defense is atrocious. They're not going absolutely anywhere, and so I think it's perfectly just to put them all the way down at 20 on the power rankings.
And I will preface this: I had the Bengals dead last in our last power rankings, and if they kept Browning at QB, they would probably still be there for me right now. Like Browning was one of the worst QBs I think I've ever seen play, considering how much talent he had out there.
And how much time he's gotten to
And
play real NFL football before
yeah,
this.
yeah,
It's
he's
not
not a
like he had never seen the field before.
yeah, but yeah, obviously Bengals are better than that, and having even a QB like Flacco shows that.
And you're
It,
getting
it
Burrow
really
back at
is
some point in the
near
semi
future.
near future.
They open up his practice window
Yeah.
3 weeks.
It should
So
theoretically be in the next 3 weeks. So
yeah, no, I think right now, obviously the team other than Burrow and his weapons is atrocious in every single aspect possible. But Flacco or Burrow plus Chase Higgins, uh, yeah, those guys are incredible. Like, especially the weapons. Like, obviously, the weapons are incredible. Uh, I mean, Zach Taylor may be able to keep his job if everything comes back, and but even so, they've been losing some games where that they should be winning, and that's really just due to the fact that their defense is Swiss cheese.
yeah.
The pass rush, thing I like. Has the rookie, what's his name? The rookie edge rusher even got a pressure this year?
Um. Shamar Stewart, is that who
Yeah,
it is?
Shamar
Yeah.
Stewart.
He's been all
I don't think
right. I think. I think it's been
Okay.
mostly on the on the run, but I think he's actually been okay. It's just
I was kind of expecting him to be an instant impact player, and I just don't think he's really been that. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he was more of
mean,
a project
at
type
least you can
guy,
put him
but
out there
yeah,
all downs, but yeah.
it's just they're such a fundamentally flawed team, but also every team past here has way bigger issues than they could solve all their issues by deep ball to Chase or Higgins. All the other teams that we have below them, I think,
They just
can't.
have problems and they can't solve them
So,
anyhow. So yeah, okay.
yeah,
I think Commanders at 21, and that's a tier break. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Just real quick, it's been an unfortunate season for the Commanders. I don't know that the process has been that bad because yes, they did like very much invest this offseason in kind of pushing things forward. I think the problem was just the roster was old from the get go. And so you were kind of just in a bad spot. And I don't know that if you're going to live in the old roster world, I don't know that going out and shoring up on offensive line was really a bad idea. It just didn't go well. Sometimes things
yeah,
don't. And so that's kind of where you land.
yeah. I mean, when you miss on 7 first-round picks in a row, and then you're expecting to be a Super Bowl contender, a
Just
perennial
because
Super
you
Bowl
got the
contender,
quarterback right,
just because you got the QB, it's like you missed. We're talking like 7 years of just misses in the first round. Like it's
well,
impossible. You
and
have to be perfect.
it's not like that draft class last year was some like massively star-studded affair either. It was just really good because you got Daniels, you know.
Yeah, and yeah, it's really just been poor drafting. I know it's from a different regime, but I they were in a tough spot, and I really don't think the Debo Samuel move really was saving them. And I mean, Tunsil's been solid. He's probably been their best O lineman, but it's also like, does he even fit the current window anymore? Like,
Mhm.
is there current window now? Like, I think they have a lot of questions to really discuss internally right now. I don't think anyone gets fired after this year or anything, but I do think they really need to take a serious look at themselves and really decide where they want to go from here. Because I think if they keep on stacking it and hoping, oh, next year's the year, they're gonna be in a nursing home pretty soon.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Poor Bobby Wagner, man. He's still so tough. It's just like he can't move.
yeah,
Okay. Let's move on. We're gonna roll through these pretty quick, I think. Um, I would kind of think Panthers, Falcons, Cardinals, Giants. Um,
I have the Cardinals actually higher.
are kind of who I have here. What do you mean higher? Like higher than?
Oh no, you're just listing teams out.
I'm just talking about who we
Oh,
can
okay.
talk about. I wasn't trying to like do those
Okay.
without talking. I'm just saying we probably don't need to like really get in depth about the teams here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I was kind of thinking that next tier is going to be Panthers, Falcons, Cardinals, Giants, that type of thing. Anyone else you want to throw in there?
Uh, I would actually bump the Giants down a little bit. I'm
Okay.
assuming Dart's gonna miss it. I don't know how long he's gonna
Okay, that's
miss,
fair.
but
Yeah.
if you're missing Dart, I know they have Jameis, but Jameis is gonna work with this team.
I am excited to see. It would have been so much more fun to see Jameis with neighbors still on the squad, but
Hey, I have Wandale in fantasy. I'm excited.
all right. Um, yeah, that's fine with me. Dolphins maybe? They're just still frisky.
I have a Dolphins here too, just
Okay.
from the fact that yeah, I mean, they just beat the Bills. You have to bump them up in a power rankings, even though I really don't love the QB or the team right now.
It
But
is what it is.
yeah,
All right. I think that's a good deal. I would throw I would still throw the Falcons out at the top of this tier. Would you agree?
uh, yeah, probably. They're a tough team right now to evaluate, but their D line's been playing a lot better, and
They're going like this every single game, right? But
yeah, yeah, I can see the putting Falcons here.
they've got so much more talent than everybody else.
They do.
In the defense, the pass rush has legitimately been better this year. To be fair,
Yeah, no, it's been a lot better. I just really don't know what they're doing on offense a lot of the time.
yeah, I
Like
get it.
they really don't use Bijan to the best of his ability, and it's very weird. Their O line is a really good unit. I don't feel like it's being used properly. Penix has very specific skill set, and I don't think he's being used for that.
Yeah,
He makes a couple throws a game where he does, and it's like, wow, this guy's really good, and then they don't really try to replicate it. I just don't really know what their direction is right now. It's like I think in an alternate reality, if the Falcons just were better ran, I think they probably could have won a division over the Bucks.
yeah, I agree.
But yeah, just at the current state, I think probably right here is a
It
good
is what
spot
it
for
is.
them.
That's where we landed. They're just
Yeah,
there's not a whole lot of reasons. It's just this is how they're playing. Um, they're just too talented to drop further, in my opinion. Um,
yeah,
I like Cardinals next. Do you agree?
yeah. I like the Cardinals here.
Okay. Yeah, Cardinals have been doing a lot of the same oscillating play, but they're just kind of the defensive additions aren't what we hoped they might be. Still
Josh
have a
Sweat's been
problem with
really
Marvin
good,
Harrison Jr. He's been all right, but yeah, it's,
but yeah, I don't really know what's going on with Marvin Harrison Jr.
I
I'm
mean, I think
very
we know what's
surprised.
going on. Like Kyler just like Martin Harrison Jr. is actually catching passes over the middle with Jacoby Brissett.
Well, yeah, they're in a team where they should move on, but I'm not sure if they will. I
Kyler
mean,
just literally cannot see Marvin. I'm convinced now. He literally just can't see Marvin Harrison Jr. over the middle of the field.
I know, but he can't even see McBride over the field, and McBride's the tight end.
I think he just throws it anyways. And whatever it is about Martin Harrison Jr., he just doesn't want to throw it anyways.
It's just, yeah, their offense looks significantly better with Brissett, which is not a good thing if you're a Cardinals fan, because I think it really does confirm what Cardinals fans have been thinking for the last couple of years, that Kyler is not the
He's not a
QB
long
that will
term
lead
piece,
them.
yeah.
And it's tough because they're paying him to be a long-term piece. And
I think Kyler should become exactly what everybody wants Jameis Winston to be, which is whenever a team doesn't have a clear future at quarterback for a year and they need a bridge piece, bring him on and let it go wild. I think
yeah,
Kyler and Jameis should be those guys. All right. Falcons, Cardinals, 22-23. Panthers, or you want to put in the Dolphins here? I think
I
the
had the
Dolphins could deserve
Panthers.
it.
I had the Panthers ahead of them in mine. I had them 24-25. But
I think the Dolphins could deserve it. Like, they have some of the friskiness we were talking. Like, they're obviously not close to the Bengals in terms of quite that quality, but, like, it's similar, right?
yeah, it just the Packers running game has been surprisingly good this year. Like,
The Dolphins, you mean?
no,
Panthers.
Panthers.
The Panthers. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's just Panthers.
You're good. You're good. Yeah.
Yeah. I think surprisingly good, especially considering the passing game
It
hasn't
has.
been a threat. And I think part of that is due to the fact that they have like four quality guards at this point, which
If
is
you
kind of
if you
weird.
like that stability over the randomness of the Dolphins, I'm cool with putting them at 24.
Yeah, but it's also like if I was gonna say against a good team, I would probably take the Dolphins, like because they do have the chance to beat. Like they still have Jalen Waddle, who is looking really good this year. This has been one of Waddle's best seasons, and it's been a while since he's been good. HN's such an explosive threat, and the defense has been performing better than expected. Bradley Chubb's a great player. Uh, they did give up Jalen Phillips, though, and they still have Minka. who's been nice. I'm more thinking about it. I probably would put the Dolphins higher, but I think they're pretty close.
Okay, that's fine with me. Dolphins at 24, Panthers at 25, and tier break. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, still got the Giants here. I think we can start throwing in the Browns.
Yeah, I have the Giants and Browns here.
I don't know. The Saints have kind of showed up at times this season, but
Yeah, I still think they're probably behind the Giants and Browns just
okay.
because they have the D lines. That's it. But they have the D lines.
Okay.
I would actually probably put the Giants above the Browns because I do think
I agree.
Dart or Jameis is better than Gabriel.
I agree with that. Obviously, at least you've got stability with Stefanski in Cleveland, but yeah, I agree with that. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's put the Giants at 26, the Browns at 27, and I think that's a tier break. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Saints.
Yeah, I have the Saints next on mine.
Okay.
Uh, Obviously have been not the best year for the Saints. I mean, Rattler looked good, and then all of a sudden he gets benched, and Chuck has been surprising me. I'm not sure how much you saw of him last week, but he had that one moon ball outside that was just beautiful.
Yeah, there have been some moments.
Like I
Like
think
I
he
think it's
has
worth
that.
testing it out.
Yeah, like I honestly would feel a lot better with seeing him out there than I would seeing Gabriel right now, because you know
Right.
Gabriel's ceiling at this point. You know he's not your franchise QB, but I guess by trotting out Gabriel, you're increasing your draft pick. So I can see it, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's a future I think where Chuck could be a starting NFL QB, which I'm impressed with. But for a guy coming into the league at nearly
Yeah, I mean, if
25,
they
and
actually got that, like, it seems like the pick was reasonably good value. So,
yeah, you got him in the second round, a guy with that type of arm talent. And obviously, I think Kellen Moore's been doing a good job this year too. I know they haven't
yeah.
been winning games, but they also don't need to be winning games right now. And
No,
they're
I mean,
obviously,
yeah,
I
I
think,
feel pretty good about how the head coach pick went down.
I think they're better than what the record shows, but they are still not a good team by any means.
Yeah.
They still are phasing out a lot of the older guys. Uh, but yeah, right as if I was a Saints fan right now, I would kind of be like optimistic right now, but not like ecstatic.
Yeah,
Like I
I
feel a lot
just need
better than I
to
would two
I need
years
to
ago.
see them before I actually start getting optimistic. I just need to see them actually ditch the old players. Just actually move on, and now I
Yeah,
start to feel optimistic.
yeah.
Because I still think the front office might try to hold on. I think it's possible, and yeah, I think the recent history is, yeah. All right. I refuse to put anyone other than the Raiders at 32 on this list. And I think that means the Jets go 31. So 30 and 29 needs to be the Titans and the who am I missing?
What are we missing a team?
We might be missing a team somewhere in here.
Did we put down the Bengals?
Yeah, Bengals are at 20. I don't think I
Uh,
doubled up numbers.
are you? Sh
I'm pretty sure. I got the
Did you put the
Giants.
Jags, Vikings?
Ooh. Oh, I did miss the Jags. That's what it is.
Okay, okay.
Oops. Where are the Jags? We did them
We
at.
slotted them in
Were we
after the
saying after the
Texans.
Viking? Oh, after the Texans, in between the Vikings? No, we decided we liked
No,
the
yeah,
Vikings better.
after the Vikings, it was.
Okay, my bad. Okay, you want to talk about who you think? So that I guess that means the. I don't know. What do you think about the last three teams, Tyler?
Yeah, I had these three in a tier. I just think these are the teams that really have absolutely no future or direction really right now. Well, I guess the Jets have a direction,
Yeah,
which is
these teams,
actually
if I
committing.
was a fan of them, I would have been doing mock drafts starting like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I still do have the Raiders at 30. I know you want to put them at 32. It's just right now, when you look at the Titans and Jets, they are so depleted of talent, especially the Jets right now. Getting rid of Quinn Williams. I know they just won last week, but that was the one emotional win they have, and it was against the Browns. Like, and it required some special teams magic.
Yeah.
Justin Fields had 12 passing yards going into the end of a third quarter before he had a magical screen that went for 40 yards to Brees Hall, and that was his last pass he completed. He's had 40 passing yards or less like almost every week. They,
All right,
I'm
fine,
sorry, the
fine,
Jets are
fine,
pathetic right
fine,
now.
fine. The Raiders don't have to go last. Do you want the Raiders? We can put the Raiders at 30.
Yeah, I'm fine doing them at 30 or the Titans. They
It's
both
fine.
are
The Raiders can go
very
at
poor
30. The
teams.
Titans can go at 31. And yes, the Jets, they do probably deserve it to go at 32. But let's just be clear. The Raiders suck. Okay?
Yes.
They got beat worse than I've seen any team get. A couple weeks ago, they got beat worse than I've seen any team get beat in like a decade plus. And it's not even close. And I'm never going to forget that.
Yeah. No, they are they're painful to watch. Geno Smith right now is playing like Jets Geno.
Yeah.
I they just really have there isn't too much positive I can say about them, but I still think they're better than the Titans because right now,
Wait, we put the Jets at 30. Well, yeah. No,
yeah, I'm saying the
yeah,
Raiders.
the Raiders, yeah. That's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine. You
I
got
feel like
GT and Bowers. It's fine.
yeah, you have J&D and Bowers. It's just the Titans. They really did send Cam Ward like out to die, and I really thought the O line was going to be at
I
least
thought it was going
somewhat
to be so
decent
much
this year.
better, and it
But
was
no,
not.
it hasn't. It's been worse than I think it ever has been. I really don't know what's happening. I don't know what their future is for coach or anything, really. I honestly think, like, I know right now there's betting markets available for, like, what team will get Cam Ward or whatever already. Or that was, like, a thing at the deadline. I know they weren't going to trade him, but, like, it's starting to get to the point where I really don't know if Cam Ward's going to be anything there. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's due to him as a player. He's made a bunch of great plays and showed a lot of promise for a rookie QB, but
It's probably worth him considering forcing his way out.
yeah. Like if I were him, I think almost any other team is probably a better destination right now.
Yeah.
I just think the Titans, what they've done, they had Vrabel, uh, Derrick Henry, and AJ Brown. Like genuinely, and they were a successful team. It wasn't like that team did nothing. They were the 1 seed 1 year. They made it to the AFC Championship game. And since then, I think every single decision they have made has been the wrong one.
Yeah.
Which is something hard to do.
They've done it in a pretty impressive manner, yeah.
Except for maybe drafting Cam Ward there, I still probably think that was the pick
Yeah.
to do. Like you take the top QB of a #1 pick when you have nothing else. But man,
Remember the Traylon Burks pick a few years ago?
oh yeah. But
All right.
right now, these three teams, just to sum it up, just I feel bad if you're a fan of these teams and if they have to play against one another, do not watch the game.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna run through this list and then we're gonna say goodbye. Let's do this. All right. So our post Week 10 power rankings are. Yeah, guess I didn't make it clear at the beginning of the episode. We're recording this on Wednesday night. After Week 10. All right. Eagles at 1, the Chiefs at 2, the Rams at 3, and the Bills at 4. That's our top tier in the NFL. We have the Lions in their own tier at 5, the Ravens at 6, the Patriots at 7, the Seahawks at 8, and the Colts at 9 are our next tier. Then we have the Packers at 10, and that ends the teams that we consider having a potential, path to the Super Bowl. And then we've got the Bucs at 11, the Chargers at 12, the Broncos at 13. That's that tier. The Bears at 14, the 49ers at 15, the Texans at 16, and the Vikings at 17 makes up a tier for us. With the Jags at 18, that's a tier. So Bears 14, 49ers 15, Texans 16, Vikings 17, Jags 18 is a tier for us. And then Cowboys at 19, the Steelers at 20, the Bengals at 21, and the Commanders at 22 is our next tier. Then we have the Falcons at 23, the Cardinals at 24, the Dolphins at 25, and the Panthers at 26 is our next tier after that. And then the Giants and the Browns are in their own tier at 27 and 28. And then the Saints are in their own tier at 29. And lastly, at the end of this pack, we have the Raiders at 30, the Titans at 31, and the Jets at 32. That wraps it. Good episode, I think. Any closing thoughts, Tyler?
Just excited to see how the season folds out. Honestly, it's been a great season so far. One of the most fun NFL seasons in recent memory for me. But it's exciting. There's a lot of parity.
Yeah, I think the In the Hunt graphics in about 3 or 4 weeks, maybe a little bit sooner than that, are gonna get really interesting. Gonna be really fun to look at and consider. So,
yeah, and right now the standings currently are we're about to see some teams that are usually powerhouses maybe be a wild card team. I know it probably won't shape out like that.
The Ravens and the Chiefs are currently outside of the playoffs. So, yeah.
Oh, the Chiefs are currently outside of the playoffs?
They're 5-4. Yeah.
Okay, I thought they would have had 7th seed or something. Okay.
No, they're out of the playoffs right now. They're 8th in the AFC right now. The Ravens are 10th. So.
Okay. To be fair, I think we know what's going to happen there. But there still could be some interesting first-round matchups. We might be getting some...
Oh, yeah.
We might not be getting it's Buffalo versus Denver this year. Oh, who's going to win?
Yeah.
It's we could be getting a potential, Chiefs-Patriots, maybe, first-round matchup. It's possible. There's a lot of exciting things that could happen. Even in NFC, too. There's a lot of really good NFC teams. I mean, I think when we look at our list, I think we have the AFC is actually no, even the NFC right now, we have a lot of them higher, even in top 5.
Yeah, no, it's a really fascinating. This is not where I thought we were going to be at this point. At the start of the season, this is not where I thought we were going to be.
Yeah, I think we're really at the point where the whole philosophy. AFC has better QBs, but NFC has better rosters. I really think this year might be the most true for that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
outside of the Colts. Yeah, the AFC, it's just the AFC quarterbacks trying to hang on.
Yeah. But NFC ones are kind of just coasting. But
yeah. All right, I think that'll do it for us. Like I said at the top of the episode, like and subscribe. If you got this far, you should definitely like and subscribe because this is what we do every time. So yeah, like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. We'd love to reply. Let me know just how stupid I am for putting your team way down or way up. Up to you, man. Yeah, have a good one.